Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the easiest way to get a visitor's visa to the USA. And by this, I mean the B1, B2 visitor business category. If you ever dreamt of visiting the US in the past or have applied to visit the US but was unsuccessful, I want to let you know that all hope is not lost. By the way, if this is your first time on my channel, please hit the like and subscribe button and check my other content. You should know that I'm recording today's video from downtown Detroit. I want you to pay attention to this building I'm showing you with the arrow. I'll be driving up into Canada. I'll be landing in Windsor, Ontario. We'll be going under the Detroit River through the Windsor-Detroit Canal. And you will see this building once we appear on the other side. Anyway, so coming back to today's topic about getting easiest way to get a visa into the US, I would say your best chance of getting a visitor's visa into the US is once you find yourself on the other side in Canada, especially as an international student. Yes, you heard me right. If you are in Canada as an international student, this is your best chance of getting a US visitor's visa. Of course, you could say you will wait till you become a citizen, which will take a couple of years from, transitioning from international student to a citizen where you will no longer require a visa. But if you don't intend waiting that long, or if you plan visiting the US sooner or have no plans of becoming a Canadian citizen, then you will likely need a visa to visit the US. Unless, of course, you come from a country that has a visa waiver arrangement with the US. All right, having said that, the best time for you to apply is not when you have immediately landed in Canada as an international student or wait until you have graduated from school to apply. The best time to apply is when you're halfway your studies. And the reason why this is the best time for you to apply is that the interviewer or the visa processing officer will be a lot more convinced that you have something to return to in Canada, right? So if you're halfway your studies, the officer will be convinced that you definitely have something to come back to, return to in Canada, so you will not be going to the US to overstay. Before you go to apply for your visa, I always recommend, and just like in all my other videos, I always recommend going to the official website. And in this case, it will be usembassy.gov. You don't want to go to third-party websites unless, of course, you were directed to that third-party website by the official website, simply because some third-party websites are fond of scamming people. I don't want you to fall victim to that. But yeah, after you have applied, filled all the forms online, it's all electronic. You're going to complete all the forms online. Once you've done that and submitted all the required documents, the next thing you need to do is prepare. Before you go for your interview, and just before that, I believe in Canada, there are 4 main locations where you'll have an embassy or a consular office where you could book your appointment. There's one in Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa, and Montreal. There could be another in Halifax. I'm not too sure. There might be other locations as well, but these 4 locations I mentioned are guaranteed to have an embassy or a consular office where you could attend your interview. Now, to go for your interview, if you know someone on the US side, it's best to communicate with them, get their contact information, and let them know you'll be going for an interview in case the interviewer asks who you want to visit in the US or where you're going in the US. Then you can talk about your contacts in the US and possibly share their contact information if the interviewer requires. But all is not lost if you don't know anyone in the US, because I did that. Well, I do know a few people in the US, but when I was attending my interview, I didn't necessarily use any of them. But you must have an itinerary. You must have a plan of what you intend doing in the US, the places you intend visiting, the place where you'll be staying. So if you're going to book a hotel, you best to do that and have an itinerary with you, have a plan of how long you're going to be there for. And when you're asked how long you're going to be in the US for, the worst answer you could possibly give is to say you're going to be there for over 3 months, unless, of course, you have a very good reason for that. But I think 2 weeks is a sweet spot because, saying anything more than 3 months might give an indication you will be going there to work or doing something that you're not supposed to. So the best answer is usually to give, say, 2 weeks. And I think there's a whole lot one could do within a 2 weeks time span, or even a week. Yeah, so once before you go for your interview as well, you would need to carry along a proof of your admission document or any academic records that shows that you're still in school and have completed a session or part of your study and still have a few more to go, right? And that's where the convincing part comes in. And right there and there after your interview, you should know if you're successful or not. They will let you know, and it shouldn't take long after for you to get your passport and you have your visa in hand and make your travel plans. Yes, and one thing I may have forgotten to mention is that you need to also carry along the proof of funds, because you want to convince the officer that you can support yourself if you go into the US. But by virtue of being a student, you can get away with not having too much, but it should definitely be enough to cover your expenses in the US. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and definitely share the video if you've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for viewing, and enjoy the rest of the video.